So we're back again. So today we've got some exciting ones. Really looking forward to this one. So I think we've done Perseus before. So Perseus is a white IPA. So it's pretty much wheat heavy with a lot of Pilsner malts, and it's a white IPA. So it's obviously really floral, fragrant, hoppy, but nice and bitter. Has this really nice finish. Loving this beer at the moment. It's a cracker. And if you haven't had it, get on it because there's not a lot left. It's a specialty, as is this one. This is our other classic, which is also a specialty, but this is a specialty Saison. Now, the difference between the two are actually quite large. So an IPA, white IPA, it's just lighter in colour and body. It's pretty much also similar to a Belgian wit, I guess, with a lot of hops going on. So full-on hops like at the end and with the bitterness. But a specialty Saison is different again. So a Saison is like a farmhouse style beer, and they call that because a lot of the times it was all the farmhouses over in Europe and that would have their own specialty yeast, and they would brew these in the winter time so they were ready during summer and stuff like that. And then while they were working the fields, they would have this Saison. I'm pretty sure that in French, Saison means season, and it's a seasonal beer, right? So, classical beer from us. This is from the Ipswich Brewers Union. These guys there, John and Gleno, came up with this recipe. So in this one, we call it a specialty Saison because there's a lot more hops in it than you would find in traditional Saison. They didn't really use a lot of hops in it to make it an IPA or whatever, but in the style guidelines that you use for beer judging, this is one that's available. And so there's a lot of hops in this, so it's a little bit bigger than you would expect from a normal Saison in the hop fragrance and the aroma and the flavour. And it's going to pair nicely, I hope, with a white IPA. We'll see how we go. They're both really, really light beers in colour. They're not light beers in ABV. So the Saison is 5.8%. Perseus is 7. Yep. 7? Yeah, yep, good. I remember my beers. But yeah, normally a Saison, traditionally, it used to be quite low in alcohol. It could be anywhere from about 2.8, usually around 3 to 3.5. It's sort of where it's at. It was almost like a table beer. But yeah, this is a big 5.8 stonker, which, I mean, for Helios, it's not a big beer, obviously. But yeah, for the purpose of this experiment, probably going to make about a 6%er, I reckon, with these ratios. I'm probably just going to go a half-half as well, because the Saison, while it's got those really nice farmhouse vibes, so the Saison is yeast-driven beer. That's predominantly what it gets. So it gets these really nice phenolic spices. So like think like black pepper. It goes really well. You can put black pepper in a Saison as well. Strawberries, fruits, all those sort of things go well with it. And then we've got Perseus, the white IPA, which is really big on mouthfeel. There's a lot of wheat going on, so there's really sort of nice creamy whitey mouthfeel going on with a heap of hops. So the hops we used in these are different to what we've used in these, but I reckon they're going to go. So I'm pretty sure this one had some Citra, and I want to say El Dorado, but I could be wrong. And I'm thinking that this one, if my memory, I should remember because this was my beer recipe. It was S's, so Simcoe, Sabro, and Strata. But that might be incorrect too. It's a long time ago we brewed this beer. Anyway, so you can see how light Saison is, and clear. Like, look at that. You could see through it if you were close to it. You're not. And yeah, whoa, nice peppery spice, but so Saisons are what we call yeast-driven beers, so things like your ambers and darks and things like that. Scott's calling me, sorry Scott, just to put you on hold. So the Saisons are yeast-driven beers, so you get the yeast sort of phenolics and parameters that the yeast give with this, but because this is a specialty Saison, we've also added quite a lot of hops to it. So there was, as I said before, like the Citra and stuff. So that's why it's a little bit different than a normal standard Saison, I guess you could say. And this one is like a white IPA is, we would say, probably a malt and hop driven beer because the wheat in it and the malt would also be a driver force of this because the wheat gives a huge mouthfeel, definitely gives it the malt that carry through and the mouthfeel, but it's more a hop driven IPA. And look at that, that's pouring clear as well. Like all in all, Oh, what was that ad? Remember? Sweet Like Sunrise, that Rhonda ad? I can't remember what it is. But wow, that's... Do we even need the light on that? I'm going to, because
it looks pretty.
It's tradition. Look at that. That looks pretty good. I'm happy with that. Got a super nice white coloured head. Nice yellow, bright golden straw colour, I would say. Make sure it's all mixed up, we're not getting stratification going on. Now what's going to happen here is I'm going to try and drink this and I'm going to get a head all over my face, or I'm just going to get a mouthful of fluff, which is not complaining about that at all. But this looks like, this looks beautiful. I can't wait to drink this one. This one actually looks super attractive. Yeah, so if you don't know, Sabro, which we've used in this, comes across with, the reason why I love it, a lot of people don't like Sabro hop. It throws off coconut, pineapple, passion fruit, those sort of tropical flavours. That's the reason why I like it. Now, depending on when you use Sabro, it depends on sort of how much coconut it sort of throws into the beer. I like it when it just throws a little bit, because I actually hate coconut. And in the Sabro though, the hop gives it just really nice sort of body and oiliness in the aroma and the flavour. Now that coconut mixed with the yeast driven spices and phenolics, and then you get this real big hit of the tropical flavours. Like, what's not to like about that? Oh, that is everything going on in one mouthful. Like, holy shit, what an explosion of flavour. There's no real malt going on. There's just fruit driven spices. Right now, yeah, bang, there it is. That really nice phenolic, peppery flavour on the aroma, but the hops, like straight up from both of these, we're just carrying through. There's like citrus, there's tropical, there's coconut. There's almost like little bits of hints of oak going on. And they're playing around. Like, it's still sitting there and it just keeps changing. It's a little bit dry at the end, and then the mouthfeel from this one and the wheat just envelops your tongue and just pulls it over. This is, I'm going to drink all of this. Yeah, so I didn't really want to hit it and say, oh yeah, this is another great beer, it's a cracker, because I'm just great at getting beers that I know will match. No, that's not the reason at all. I actually wasn't sure if this was going to work. This works. The spiciness and the hop bitterness from the IPA, they really go well together, and relieves your tongue of that little bit of bitterness, and then it just sweetens up, and then your tongue starts salivating again, going, hey, drink some more of that. And you know what? Damn right, I'm gonna. See, palate's like really candied orange and soft and floral, and it's just a damn good beer. I rated one earlier, another day, quite high, and I sort of thought, oh, maybe we put these two together and they're not going to work. But you know what? It works. I reckon any white IPA and Saison are going to be bangers together. You'd be mad if you didn't try it. I'd love to try a white IPA with a Saison yeast. That would be pretty cool. Massively hopped. Maybe you could just massively hop another Saison. That would also work. What are we doing? Scoring it out of 10. Sorry, Joel, I've got to do it. It's a 9.8. It's a big one. This is an absolute thriller. If it was a hot day, which is not, because I'm wearing a friggin' hoodie, I think it's like 12 degrees outside. It's cold. But if it was a super hot day and it was in the summer, you could probably not work in the fields drinking these, because it's about 6.5%. You wouldn't want to drink too much of it. But I tell you what, this is a cracker of a beer, and I reckon this is going to be a blend of mine for a while. Joel, sometimes he gets and has a taste of those. I'm going to drink the rest of it. He's not going to get a look in today. Sorry, mate. But yeah, cracker, 9.8. Cheers.